the separation distances are generally much, much higher than proposed, and I think that is of significance. I do feel that this development would cramp on this site. It would harm the amenity locally, particularly for those residents.
Sorry, can I just stop you, Captain, for a minute? Somebody is videoing the proceedings in the front row, and that's not allowed.
I've got a letter from Steve Fowkes that says it is.
Sorry?
I've got a letter from the leader of the council that says it is.
Who's told you it is?
Councillor Steve Fowkes, in response to a question of full council.
Okay. We do not normally have these proceedings
photographed
because we have a problem in terms of people's personal activities. They don't necessarily want them.
Can I help as a member of the Standards Committee? The Standards Committee earlier this year approved the council be open and transparent and the use of media to be allowed in all meetings.
Very good. I'm just concerned that it might influence the way people speak in an open manner. And I'll take some legal advice on that.
I'm not sure whether the position with regards to what...
Sorry, I can't hear you. Could you use the microphone?
With regards to what Councillor Fowkes has told you, or the, I take what Ms. Council has said into account. It is highly unusual for the undertaking to be recorded, and I'm not sure if what the Standards Committee have recommended has actually been passed down to this committee as a decision. I would think that until that has been actually passed down to the various committees, that would not be accepted as usual practice. I think there is transparency with regards to the media, as in allowing the press and publicity in regards to the decision-making process. But the actual visual recording, I think, would be something that certainly I would expect the chairman to have been aware of as being acceptable. And if the chairman isn't aware of it, it has been informed by the leader, then I would think that on pending clarification and confirmation with the chairman, I would think that it must be acceptable.
Can I do that?
I'm not having a
I'm just trying to be helpful, Chairman, that's all. The Standards Committee, when it made that, those minutes go to Council. Those minutes are approved by Council. Then Council has agreed to allow the filming and photography at Council meetings. That's all I'm saying. If Council's agreed those minutes, then it's agreed that that's allowed.
Well, I need some help with it, because my first concern is to avoid people being compromised in saying what they feel they ought to say by being intimidated.